The Knicks postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. The Knicks in Miami tonight. Davion Mitchell here. And the Heat went up by 10 with about 3.5 to go. The Knicks fought back. Off the miss. Cat 1 of 7 from downtown. This is the one. 22 seconds left. Knicks down 1. Now down 2. Tick, tick, tick. Deuce McBride trying to tie it. No. Cat gets it. Chance to tie again. No. Heartbreak for the Knicks. The closest game of the year ends in a 2-point loss to Miami. The final count tonight, 115 to 113. So the Knicks now 0-4 on the road. Great to have you with us here from our Delta MSG studios. Bill Pito along with Alan Hahn and Wally Szczerbiak. Of course, no Jalen Brunson, no OG Anunoby. And this is an example, like we need an example, of how you missed a poise of Jalen Brunson when the game's on the line.
You see it. Yeah, you see it. You had 22 seconds, 2 possessions, plenty of opportunity and plenty of time to at least force overtime if you weren't going to get a 3. And it does show you how much this team misses Jalen Brunson, clutch player of the year last year, for a reason.
Yeah, listen, every player has the freedom to just attack, no matter what point in the game, no matter what time in the game. Jalen Brunson normally is the guy that everyone defers to, and as a player, you say, let me get the ball into Jalen's hands because he's the guy. Clutch player of the year, makes solid decisions. The effort was there by this Knicks team. Their offensive rebounding down the stretch at the end of the game. They were down 10, 112, 102. They fought back to get to within a shot of getting even and maybe even a shot of winning the game. So it was a valiant effort, but the ball needs to be, I think, in Mikal Bridges' hands at the end of that game at some point to initiate the play and make something happen. Deuce McBride had it, so he said, I got to be aggressive.
All right, this is after the jump ball now.
Right,
so this is
Towns won with 10 seconds to go. Again, Towns just all-out max effort on the offensive glass. Great look in and out. And then, unfortunately, they couldn't get the last offensive rebound. You know, Deuce does a good job. He says, I got to attack. This is a crazy shot, though.
7 seconds were on the clock, though, on the shot. Would you think to just have a little more patience and poise in that moment?
Yeah, I mean, you want to attack. This is what, you want to do. This is the way the Knicks play. They play in attack mode. Mike Brown gives all the guys complete freedom to make a play, make something happen. Listen, you broke down the defense, you missed a shot, you got an offensive rebound, and you got another good look at it.
Now, Cat had a great look.
I know.
mean, you may say Deuce took a little bit of a wild shot, but Cat had a great look.
Still good look at it, and it rattled
Little
down.
helter-skelter, but that's where the Knicks are the best offensive rebounding team in the league. They go to the offensive glass, they attack it, and they use the shot as a pass almost. At the end of that game, they had a couple opportunities off those offensive rebounds.
Now, again, you credit, obviously, the resiliency of this team and the way they fought back down 10. It looked like the game was pretty much over, and yet they just keep playing, and they had an opportunity. Before we showed you that last possession, there was a jump ball because they called a goaltend that they reviewed and took it off the board. It was a clean block. So Davion Mitchell makes the free throw. There's 21 seconds to go in the game. It's a 2-point game. So the Knicks had the ball with 21 seconds to go, down 2. So there was really 2 possessions in there because of the jump ball with the opportunity. And both times it did feel like there was a little bit too much of a rush to get to the basket rather than to get into something, get set up, and try to get a good shot, a quality shot. I don't know if those 2 attempts by McBride were quality shots. They were head-down drive, try to make something happen, and both times Towns ended up with the offensive rebound, and both times with an opportunity to score.
McBride did have his best game of the season with 25 points. It was a wild fourth quarter. The Heat go on an 18-5 run, Wally. They were up 112-102, as I mentioned off the top of the show. Knicks fight their way back, and it came down, as we've discussed, to the last couple of possessions of the game.
And that was Deuce McBride. 2 huge threes, throwing a couple Cat free throws, and you cut that 10-point lead immediately to 2. Deuce with an outstanding flush, just posterizing Jaime Jaquez. Impressive play, splitting the defense. Jordan Clarkson off the bench playing big minutes.
14 points.
He had 14 points. The Knicks are going to have to just manufacture offense wherever they can get it. But I thought this guy took over in the fourth quarter. Norman Powell did not have a good game, and he got buckets when Miami needed him. Loose ball gets to Ware.
Ware was called out after Friday night. He had a better game tonight.
16 and 14 for Ware, fellas.
He sure did. And there's one of the threes by Deuce. Deuce was big in getting him back into the game. Josh Hart with the hustle, the effort. This was a massive
1-point game.
That cut the game to 1. And then Davion Mitchell makes 1 out of 2. That's not a good shot.
That's the block that they originally called the goaltend, right?
Yes. and they got it right. It was a clean block, but then the Knicks got the offensive rebound. I mean the jump ball, and then that deuce shot, another wild shot that leads to an offensive rebound, and Cat can't get it to go, and that is a tough, heartbreaking loss for the New York Knicks. I'll tell you, they tried to gut this one out.
Yep.
Both those teams just went after it. You just have to make the key plays if you want to win games, especially on the road against an 6-1 now team in Miami at home. They're a good home team. Knicks now 0-4 on the road. In order to win on the road, it's not just effort, it's also execution. And I thought at the end of that game, despite the phenomenal effort getting the offensive rebounds, the Knicks are going to have to come up with a little bit of a plan to execute and get themselves a little bit better shots.
Three-point shooting, guys. The Knicks attempted 36 threes, tied for a season low. Interesting, given they're shorthanded, you think maybe they put up some more threes, but they only go 9 of 36, while the Heat go 14 of 35 from downtown. And then the third quarter alone, Wally, the Heat went 5 of 8 from downtown. That was really the difference in the game on the stat sheet, the difference in three-point shooting.
And the Knicks still had a chance to win this game and keep it close. And that just goes to show how they, competed in the possession game that Mike Brown always talks about, because 14 for 35 is a pretty good percentage. This Miami Heat team, they share the ball. They have shooters. Not a lot of known names. Drew Smith, not a lot of guys that you really know on this roster. Fontecchio's been all over the place, and he's one of the best three-point shooters all of a sudden. Well, they put a Miami Heat uniform on. These guys really hurt the Knicks from the three-point line. You knew that's what they were going to do, Allen. They came out, they knocked down their threes, and the Knicks just couldn't make a high enough percentage.
Yeah, and the corner three, which is the strength of the Knicks, was not a strength tonight. They only took 7 of them. They were 1 for 7 on the corner threes. They missed OG Anunoby probably, but they weren't getting the sprays that Mike Brown talks about. Everything they were taking from three-point range was above the break. You give Eric Spoelstra 2 days after watching you play on a Friday night to make the changes defensively that he wants to make, the adjustments. You knew they were going to take some things away. The corner three, which is a huge part of this offense, was non-existent tonight, a big part of the story. But still, with all of that, they were there with 20 seconds to go with a chance to tie or take a lead. So you'll take it. It's a tough loss. But it just shows you, again, even without 2 great players, Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, there was still enough on this team to get a win tonight.
Mikal Bridges was excellent. I mentioned McBride had 25. Bridges, had 23.
Yeah, and that's why I would have loved to have seen Bridges with the ball in his hand on those last 2 possessions. I just really trust his pplaymaking ability. He's got the size to see over.
We've seen him make winners. We've seen him make game winners, right, Wally?
Yeah, we've seen him make game winners. We've seen him, just make the right play.
Like, watch this.
Such a cerebral player. That's a big-time move.
Right.
I think he's got more dunks this year than
right. He had one down the lane in this game.
I know.
Beautiful.
He's been playing this one.
Yeah, here it is.
Crossover, split the defense, and just posterizes where another big-time play that
2 steals.
Like 3 dunks today for Mikal Bridges, and that's just attacking the basket, playing the passing lanes. Just, Mike Brown prioritized getting to the free throw line. That's a big part of it. When you win the free throw game, that's free points. Knicks are 83% free throw shooters, one of the best in the league as a team. Get ourselves to the free throw line. That's just stealing free points. So it was a great job by Mikal Bridges, and I really would have liked to see the ball in his hands, generating offense on those last 2 possessions.
6 stocks for Bridges, Bill. Big stock report.
Yep.
2 steals.
Better than today's stock
4
market
blocks.
performance, that's for sure. Bridges really
Check
efficient.
your 401k.
He's been really efficient all year. 9 out of 14 to get his points, 23 points, as we mentioned.